You're listening to season 4 of Straight Talk with Trevor. I can't believe they gave you another season, Daddy.
Ain't asking no questions, don't follow no rules. I'm learning my lessons, got nothing to prove. I follow my heart and I do what I feel. I breathe and believe and I bleed for what's real. What's real is what I'm speaking in my music, expressing how I feel so that you can listen to it. No need to sugarcoat it, I just tell it how it be. There's a reason why I wrote it, there's a reason you don't see. I speak from my perspective, but I learned that we are different. If you plan on getting knowledge, never talk more than you listen. Analyze the situation, see another point of view. That's smart decision making, I can say the same for you. I respect your opinion, that don't mean that I agree. I'ma treat you like you treat me, that's the way that it should be. And I'm free, never shackled down by your ignorance. Your innocence can have you facing very bad predicaments. Learn from your mistakes and try to be a better person. When it's time to reach them gates, ain't no hookups, that ain't working. Let me tell you what's real, nigga. It's real, it's like this, Ain't asking no questions, don't follow no rules. I'm learning my lessons, got nothing to prove. I follow my heart and I do what I feel. I breathe and believe and I bleed for what's real. Ain't asking no questions, don't follow no rules. I'm learning my lessons, got nothing to prove. I follow my heart and I do what I feel. I breathe and believe and I bleed for what change with the seasons. There's often many reasons.
What's up, Straight Talk Society? This is your host, Trevor, and I'm back with another episode of Straight Talk with Trevor, the podcast where no topic is off limits. Before I get started with tonight's show, I have to do something. Since the inception of this show, I've always tried to keep some level of integrity. I know a lot of shows out there, they just report stuff fallaciously, and if it's true, it's true. If it's not, it's not. So a couple of weeks ago, I did a Quickies episode where I reported on a 26-year-old Missouri woman that was shot 5 times by the cops. That's true. But in that story, I stated that the woman was unarmed, which is what even made me just go off the deep end about it. Body camera footage came out, and it was shown that she was armed and that she was pointing the gun towards the cops. Now, I don't change my stance as far as saying they shouldn't have shot her 5 times, because the guy from the Tops massacre, he was allowed to come out of that alive. But I do apologize and I do retract my statement saying that she was unarmed, because I feel like I had to keep up some type of integrity on this show. So for that, I do apologize. I think the cops were still in the wrong for shooting her so much, but they had a reason, because at the end of the day, we got to put ourselves in the cops' shoes. They're trying to go home to their families also. So with that being said, we get into tonight's show. This show tonight will be the season 4 finale. Show's not going away at all. It's just going to give me a couple of weeks to reset. And I like to do these finales just because, it keeps everything organized. So tonight, if you follow me on the Facebook page, you'll see that I'm having a men's roundtable. And the discussion tonight is going to be one that we don't talk about enough, but it is very, very important in our community. So tonight we're going to talk about porn. So let's put the kids away for this one. We're going to have a men's roundtable discussion about the effects of porn in relationships and how it affects relationships, whether positively or negatively. So I could have gone this alone, but for something like this, I got to bring in the heavy hitter. Yeah, I got to bring the heavy hitter in. So y'all, you're one of y'all favorites, and I will say he's still, I want to say, top 3 most listened to show of the 40 plus that I've done. He holds like 2 of those positions. So in the studio, Zay is with us,
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Thanks for having me.
but we're not alone. So we also got in studio a newcomer. He gonna get baptized tonight into the Straight Talk Society. I got my boy Bones in here. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up? How y'all doing?
All right. So y'all know what we're talking about. Let me get my mic set. Hold up, so I gotta get comfortable for this one. All right. So we're gonna be talking about hold on, let me see what's going on here. Just get my sound and make sure my sound right. 1 second, bear with me. All right, so we're gonna be talking about hold on. Mic check. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about porn and the effects of porn on a relationship. So first of all, what's you guys' quick stance on that? Just
Well, me personally, I feel like it can be positive or negative depending on, I guess, the dependency of it and how it's used and the two people involved in the relationship.
so okay, because we so hold on, Bones. What do you think before I say what I got to say?
I feel like it can be a both positive and negative depending on the two people that's involved in the relationship.
So how positive?
You want me to answer that? Or?
Either one.
I feel like it could be positive because sometimes you might just need that spark. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if both of y'all are in agreement and y'all can go ahead and you feel like that's something that's going to add a spark to your sex life, then go for it.
And then, so what's the negative aspect to that?
Negatively, I feel like too much of anything is always a bad thing. So, I mean, if you get to the point to where your significant other always want to watch porn but never want to have sex, then it's a problem. And then sometimes I feel like you watch it too much, you can become desensitized. You get what I'm saying? Well, before, you could have seen your girl wearing lingerie and you would have got turned on, but now some people watch so much porn to where like it take more than that. Like they need that extra push.
All right, what you got to say about that, Bones?
Well, I feel like in a negative way, if it's a woman that's insecure, then by having a partner that's watching porn, it's not going to make her feel good about herself, and it's going to create a lot of tension in the relationship.
So you mentioned her being insecure, but you don't think that the porn is what made her insecure?
Right. The male also has to take into account her feelings. If he knows that it's not making her feel good about herself, then he got to, have a discussion and kind of tune it back if it's not making her feel good.
I'm gonna just say, like whenever we talk about insecurities, we tend to focus on the women. You get what I'm saying? Like I feel like that can go both ways.
Right. It can go both ways because it can be the man that's insecure also.
Right.
So, okay. So listen to this statement. When young men become trained by pornography, they get married and expect things from their wives that their wives aren't interested or can't even do. It leads to frustration and anger and shame and insecurity. Pornography doesn't show you what sex is, it shows you what male lust is. What do you think about that?
Basically, in my opinion.
I feel like as far as unrealistic expectations, I mean, it's like, how does she know she can't do it? Did she try it? I mean, like you can't expect the girl you with to look like every porn star. So
Right.
if that's what you're expecting, then yeah, it's gonna set unrealistic expectations. But as far as like actual sex life, if it's something that you two can consent to or something like that, then you can't say the expectation is unrealistic. I feel like in a relationship, like me personally, I enjoy pleasing. You get what I'm saying? So it's like I'm gonna do what I can to please my woman, and if that's mutual between both of y'all, then you don't know what your limits are until you actually explore.
All right, so I started watching. I'm 42. I started watching porn probably when I was about 7, which is crazy because I got a 7-year-old daughter now.
Right.
So I kind of see life different now, but I can't change what I've done in the past. And I started watching my dad's flicks, what we call them, the videotapes. I would go in his room and see him when he wasn't home and blah blah blah. I'd watch him. So from a young age, I developed. From a young age, to me, that's what sex was. What I saw on these videos, and I could just speak personally for myself. I could see how it kind of conditioned my mind. Whereas with me growing up, when I was looking for the woman, I was looking for the girl that would be the freak. That's we always want the freak because, I mean, you know what? Just straight talk. Let's just get into it. We never want the girl. I don't know any guy that ever said I want a girl that's just gonna have sex missionary style. We always say we want the chick that's going to bust it wide open and do this and do that. And a lot of that is because of what we've seen. If you look around the world, I mean, everything is so hyper. We live in such a hypersexualized world right now.
Yeah, we do.
You can't look anywhere.
It's hard to escape it.
Yeah, you can't. There's nowhere you could go that you can't see sex right now.
I seen the billboard on Sunrise with the big condom on it talking about, and I'm like, God damn. My kids in the car, like.
Everything now promotes sex. Everything promotes sex. What women are wearing now, we just live in such a sexualized, and so I guess what I want to get to is like when you bring that into a relationship. Now you have a woman that you're supposed to be with, and you guys love each other, true enough, but you're sitting here watching porn, and this stuff is let's face it, porn is fantasy. It's not real.
Right.
I mean,
it's just like another movie.
Yeah, they're acting, and the shit that they're doing is just is a cameraman behind them telling them what to do. You know what I'm saying?
And everything.
But we start looking at this and we start picturing this shit in our head, and then we project it on our women like, hey man, how come you're not doing this? And you know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. Like how so as men, do we just say, you know what, fuck it, let's just stop watching?
See, me personally, I would feel like instead of saying, hey, why you not doing this, I would be the type to say, hey, let's try this. You get what I'm saying? But I don't know. I feel like if it becomes a problem, then yeah, stop watching it.
It would be that easy for you.
I mean, it's never became a problem, so I guess it's easier for me to say.
Well, what about you, Bones? If your woman comes to you and say, "Hey, man, this is a problem," you watch. And again, I'm talking like we consume a lot. I don't know what their consumption is. I'm just saying, I would be a fool to think that men,
I think sometimes
don't watch porn.
It's the way you go about it too, because I feel like sometimes you can create an insecurity in your woman by like going overboard with porn, always wanting to watch porn. You don't want to have sex unless you're watching porn, and they might be like, "Man, wait a minute, like, is he watching the sex? Or is he watching her?" You feel me?
Right.
And then it's like, now every time she pick up your phone, she see Cherokee on every page, and it's like oh, what's going on here?
So, I mean, in all honesty, if my girl had a problem with it, then I have to take it into consideration, and I wouldn't do it because I have to put her feelings first, put my relationship first. If it's a hindrance to my relationship and it's becoming a problem,
but
are we really?
Really? I feel like this. I feel like if she had a problem and it was reasonable, because I always examine myself, like whenever situations like that pop up, I don't just be quick to jump on the defensive. So if this is something that you knew that I did and I expressed it to you when we first came into the relationship, as long as I keep it like, see, first of all, like I feel like that's something that we should do together. It's not something that I'm gonna just sit here and watch. You feel me? Like, okay, I gotta sneak and watch this. Nah, I don't believe in that.
So what's too much then?
I mean, I don't know.
It depends on the people that's involved.
When it starts affecting your relationship in a negative way, it's too much. Or when it hinders you from like, just like any addiction, because some people have an addiction. So if you waking up in the morning and you got to try to watch a flick before you go to work, and just like if it's hindering you in your personal life or your relationship, and you just refuse to give it up, then yeah, like you're doing too much.
First of all, if you know that you love porn, then you should talk to your partner before y'all get into a serious relationship and discuss it with her before,
But
so that way that it's not a problem later on. You know what I mean?
I kind of agree with what you were saying though, because I was introduced to porn at a very early age too, and so it's like that was my first impression of sex.
So why do you think why? Okay, because Bone said something real interesting that I don't think we ever touch on. He said if you love porn, what is in porn that makes us love
Sex.
but we're men, and when I say we're, I'm talking hypothetical. We're men in relationships. So why? I don't profess to be a doctor. There's nothing psychological about what I'm doing, but if we're watching porn, a good amount of porn, because I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say I don't watch it, but I'm going to tell you like this straight up, and my wife even knows, if I'm going to watch porn, it's just going to be to rub one out real quick and be done with it. I'm not watching it because I want to sit there and analyze every position and stuff like that. It's mental stimulation, and boom, that's it.
For me, it's mental stimulation, and I honestly take notes. I feel like when it comes to like I said, I get pleasure out of pleasing. You feel me? So it's like just like how you could read a book to like learn how to go fishing. It's like I feel like a lot of my success in the bedroom has come from things that I've learned off of porn. Is that good or bad? I don't know, but I ain't had no. I mean, I don't know. That's how I feel.
So why couldn't you just explore that with your woman? Like be like,
oh yeah,
hey, let's try this. I mean, in absence of the porn, like so I don't need the porn to show me how to do that.
Nah, you definitely can. But that's what I'm saying. Like you gotta have that balance. You can't just have, oh, I need porn so we can do this. It's like you gotta have that balance. Like I feel like if you find yourself watching porn more than you have sex with your woman, if you find yourself having sex with your woman with porn more than you do without, and I feel like that can become a problem. Because what you're gonna do, like, if you somewhere and you trying to get it quickie, you're gonna pull out the phone and put it on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
all right. So I'm glad you said that. So everybody knows when I do these shows, I try to give you a high quality show with my guests or whatever kind of topic I want to talk about. What even made me do this, I forgot to tell you guys at the beginning. I was sent a message. I've been getting sent a lot of messages for potential shows to do, and somebody sent me a message and said, "Hey, you probably want to do a show on this," and it was talking about racism in porn, in the porn industry. So, but and you shaking your head. Okay, so I guess we got to touch on it because Bones is shaking his head. Yeah, because I didn't want to mess with it because when I read the story, I looked at it and I'm like, I say, you know what? I see if you guys were like in sex trafficking and stuff like that, then you may have a point. But you're voluntarily doing this, so I don't see if. I think they were basing the racism more because of the disparity in the pay. So like you have the white models are getting so much more money. All right, go ahead.
I think it's deeper than that. Basically, okay, I'm gonna keep it real.
Let's talk about it.
All right, so if you're watching white porn and you're looking at a white male and a black female, usually he's demeaning her, he's spitting on her, spitting in her mouth and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So a lot of people may find that demeaning because if you watch black porn and like male and male, a black male and a black female, you want to see the same kind of treatment, basically.
I didn't know that.
Nah, I mean, I've seen it both ways.
So you've seen like demeaning ways. From black on black?
Not from black on black, but whenever it's interracial. It seems like that's the case.
You guys have seen that. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. Full transparency, I don't watch interracial porn.
Right.
I don't. I mean, we can go into it if you want, but I don't watch interracial porn. It's just something about me. But you guys already know my feeling on black and white. So
I don't discriminate. I just can't watch like two white people. other than that, I don't discriminate. Because again, it's like I feel like when I look at it, I don't look like I'm very different. I don't look at it as people gonna think I'm capping, but I don't really look at it like, oh, look at her. You feel me? It's like the whole act is what does it for me. You feel me? So a female could not even be my type, but like if I feel like she's into it, then I'm into it. You feel me?
So let me back that up a little bit. So I will watch if it's interracial, if it's a black man with a white woman. I will not watch a white guy with a black woman. I will not watch that under no circumstance. So let me clear that up.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, it's some stuff I got to get over, but you know. So okay? Because I wasn't going to touch it. Like honestly, that's why I said, you know what? When he sent it to me, I was like, I'm not. I said because they signed up for it. Right. So and it's not like they're being sold into sex working and stuff like that, where they're being demeaned. You have your contract ahead of time, like, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. But if you guys see that.
And not just that, I feel like it's so many things, like so many different genres and categories. So it's like they gotta put something for the races too. They gotta do something for everybody. You get what I'm saying? Like it's people that got some weird kinks that's like, well, I may call weird or disgusting or be offended by it, and other people are like, I need to see more of that. You get what I'm saying?
I guess each his own, man.
Yeah.
I don't. That's what I'm saying. Like my consumption of porn is not. It's not to become an expert, you know what I mean? Like it's not to be like, oh man, I want to know all the models and I want to, you know, there's I don't lie on this show. There's models that I see and I'm be like, damn, she gonna be a repeat, you know, watching type stuff. But it ain't nothing like, you know, I want to learn their profile and stuff like this. It's just too much. You know, but I know people like that.
Yeah, me too.
That their lives are consumed in porn. That's what, and I. All right, so let's move on. So, all right. So the person who sent me this, he also sent me a letter. So I'm going to read that now. And it says, porn has its pros and cons when it comes to its role in my relationship. I'm a visual learner of sort, so viewing porn for me enhances visual stimulation and also teaches me things I need to be intuitive about with my spouse. Albeit overly exaggerated, majority of the time, porn is only for fantasy provisions. I've graduated with honors from Porn University, so I have no shame in my game. The con with porn's role in my relationship is that it can set unrealistic expectations for my spouse. Excuse me. There that goes again, that unrealistic expectation.
Right.
My spouse may feel like she may not live up to the expectations. It's my job to make my spouse know she fulfills all my desires and more.
Exactly.
No visual stimulation can amount to the real thing. So, fellas and ladies, fuck to your heart's content with your spouses and significant others. Have discussions, laugh about your views and roll with the punches. Also, always set realistic expectations, and that's from Ricardo. So,
I feel like you nailed it.
Which again, because ever since I've been doing this show, you never know who it touches because people don't really give you feedback on the show like I'd like.
Right.
But I've been getting messages where it'd be like, hey man, you should talk about this, or what about this? You said this. Mention this on the show next time. And he's one of the ones that's done that. Like he's giving me so many damn topics. I got content till the end of next year because of messing around with him. But it's just like, so there's that thing again, that unrealistic expectations. So I guess my whole thing is, and I had to dial back from it too, because I was looking at it like, man, I'm looking at these women doing these things, and I don't want to start creating an environment where I'm having sex with them when I should be, you know what I'm saying,
your partner, right?
With my partner. And I think that's the unrealistic expectation, man, because we just see the final cut. You know, we don't see how many
right.
scenes it took, and you know, all the bloopers and this like that. You're just like, damn, boy, she did this and she did that. And meanwhile, you're looking at your partner, and you're like, damn, you know, what's up, man?
See, I feel like
climb on the ceiling, do something. What's up, man?
I feel like to a certain extent, like you might say, "Oh, I wish my girl did this," but really, it's like some things. If she did like perform just like her, you might be like, "Ah, damn, I can't handle you." Like, that's probably something that you might look at it different. Like, okay, like, man, like what's your history again? Because how did you pull that off? But I don't know. It can be a slippery slope. But I feel like as long as you stay within and that's another what he said too is that I strongly agree with is about the conversations and whatnot. If you have that open communication, and realistically, I've never been in bed with one person and like fantasize about someone else or something else, because I be trying to read, but I be into the person I'm with, so I'm reading body language and just like a flick could be on, and it's like we might have started out watching the flick, but like once I start doing my thing, it don't even exist no more. You feel me?
So let's talk about the conversation then. If it's not always easy to tell your girl like, I want to try this, and I think that's why it's so easy to go to the porn, because like, man, I can't ask my girl to do this, but let me watch. You know why not? Because we're afraid to hear no.
Nah, man, I can't. Nah, you gotta try. I didn't heard
it should go both ways, you know.
Yeah, I heard no before, and I want her to be open with me too. Like if it's something that she want to try, like tell me. Like you never know. Like I've done things that I said I would never do, but once I seen how much they enjoyed it, it put me into it. You get what I'm saying?
See, I always bring y'all the top-notch content on Straight Talk with Trevor. You never knew this was gonna go like this. All right, so this is what I did. I last season you guys heard me talk about this doctor friend of mine, and we were supposed to have a interview, but you know she's a doctor. She's real busy, so I can't really mess with her like that until she really frees up some time. But she was gracious enough to kind of entertain my questions. So she sent me a series of voice clips and said that I could use them in the show. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play them periodically throughout the show and just have my guests react to them. So this is a real life doctor, Dr. Katina Kennedy. She is a real life doctor, and she's found her niche. And like I say, she sent me a bunch of voice clips. So here we go.
Yeah, so, porn can definitely affect the relationship when the expectations are, extreme. So say, for instance, the couple or the guy who's ever watching the porn expects for the woman to do the tricks that he sees on porn, that can make it frustrating because his expectations would be what he sees on porn versus what his partner can give him. So that's number one. Number two.
All right, so right then and there, we're back to that expectation again.
Yeah.
So that seems to be the big thing, is the expectation. Everybody's talking about expectation, and you hear her say that the unrealistic. Like we see women, we see things in porn. It all goes back to we see these things going on, and we kind of expect that from our spouse.
Let me ask you this: if your spouse came up to you and said, "Hey, I seen this, I really want to try it," or like I'm interested in this, it's just it's like she might not be expecting you to meet the expectation of the guy on the video, but at the same time, it's like you wouldn't be willing to try it, like just to satisfy your significant other.
I'd try anything as long as there's not heights involved.
So I mean, I feel like the unrealistic expectations is only unreal. I mean, I don't know. I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's like, I guess you gotta have somebody that you're sexually compatible with from the start. So I mean, that way,
it's only unrealistic if the person not willing to try it.
Right, and even if they like, I'm the type of person like, Like, let's go take Kama Sutra classes. Let's go take like BDSM classes. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. Like I'm like.
And plus, I feel like for a long-term relationship, you got to be open towards new things and be willing to experiment.
You're gonna be with the same person forever.
For the rest of your life. You got to do something new. You can't do the same thing.
Yeah. So I mean, unrealistic expectations now. Like, I mean, everybody still has things that that's I'm not doing that. You get what I'm saying? But if what I'm not willing to do is something that you absolutely need sexually, then regardless of the porn, we're probably not going to work because you need that. You get what I'm saying?
All right, so that's a good input. So here's our second one.
Number two, if he's watching porn or she's watching porn and she's masturbating from that, then if he has a problem ejaculating from vaginal sex because he constantly watches porn where he's constantly jacking off, then that can interfere with women getting pregnant because he can't come from vaginal sex. He only can come from the friction of his hands because that's what he's constantly using every day or a couple times throughout the day from watching porn. So I've had couples where it actually interfere with pregnancy because, again, he's not able to come inside of her.
That's real.
All right. Yeah, we all looked at each other crazy just then. I have never. Again, she's a doctor, though.
Right, right.
I'm not saying, but I'm so happy that she gave me the time.
Absolutely.
I sent her this message that morning, and she obliged quick. I've never heard of that, man. Like a guy that can't come from vaginal sex.
Not
Like
me either.
But I can see where that could be.
But that's a blessing, though. Yeah, we never heard of it.
No, but I'm saying, like, I can see how that'll be a problem and annoying for a woman because it's like
all you focused on is porn and he's not focused on her, basically.
Yeah, like I want a baby, but you so it all goes to this. So now it's like she wants a baby, she can't make you come, and so now you know what's going to happen. Now she's going to look outside.
Yeah,
I mean, man, this thing is just a big mess. Let's continue.
Porn can also delay ejaculation. So for those men who's constantly watching porn, that's causing, and they're always ejaculating. When it's time for sex, they may have delayed ejaculation, like meaning it takes them hours to come, and sometimes they don't come because they're not used to the vaginal contraction or friction. They're used to their hand. And
again, I'd like to know, like,
so whose hand is better?
Yeah, that's like
female. You get what I'm saying?
But it's got to be dudes out there, man, because the porn industry, and it's not like so growing up we had to buy. We had to buy videos, and we did like tape trading and stuff like that.
Now it's so accessible on your phone.
Yeah, now you can just go to Pornhub, YouPorn, whatever, anything. Just pull it up, and wham bam, you in there. So like, but there's still a big market for this. The industry wouldn't be what it was.
Sex will always sell.
Yeah, well, it's the oldest profession in the world. It's like sex is. Man, sex has brought many a man down to his knees. Yep. That's all I can say. It's like so, but it's like man, I just can't understand how a hand would be more.
Nah, me either.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think these guys not having sex with the right person.
Woman is constantly watching porn, and she's masturbating from that. If she's using certain toys like the Rose or the different vibrators they have out there, her clitoris can become numb, and she can kill her nerves if she's masturbating like frequently. So like if she's masturbating like a few times throughout the day, and she can deaden the nerve. So when it's time for oral sex with her partner, when it's time for sexual intercourse, she's used to that stimulation that she gets from the toys, and that can interfere with the relationship.
Thank you so much for. All right, so thank you again to the doctor for giving me her time and just giving us that input to the show. I mean, because like we're all just sitting here looking at each other like in astonishment. She mentioned women watching porn.
Right.
Like, I guess we never thought about that. Because when we think about porn watching,
Usually it's the man.
That's why I kept trying to like correct him every time he put it as the woman, as the man watching and the woman being insecure, because it goes both ways. And that's a prime example. I'm glad she touched on toys, because in my younger days, like, I felt like, man, I got to compete with this toy. But now, I just feel like, yeah, toys are my friend, because they're going to help us, you get what I'm saying? Get to where we got to go.
So, okay, so how would you feel how would you guys feel if you were in a situation where your woman, she just watches porn like crazy, and she's mentally comparing you to the guy, like you said, not necessarily the actor, but the experience,
right,
that she sees online. How would you guys feel about that?
That's a good question. And see, I feel like that's a good question.
I mean, the real question is, can I still pleasure her? If it's a situation where she's not being pleasured, then yeah, it would be an issue. But if we're still having a good sex life, then it wouldn't be, a major issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like does her sex drive with me
diminish because of that, or no?
Like equal out? Okay, like if I see you always watching porn and you always want to masturbate, but you want to do that more than we have sex, then yeah, it's gonna be a problem.
All right, I never asked y'all this, and this is totally a sidebar, but what if your woman came to y'all one day and was like, hey, I wanna introduce somebody else. It's another woman though. Like, how would you feel about that?
Nah.
Why not?
Because like that's the recipe for disaster. Like I feel like once you do that, like if I was in a relationship, like nah, I can't do it because I'm not sharing, and I don't want to even put that in your head. It's gonna open up Pandora's box. But if I was like, if we were just talking and I wasn't in a relationship, then yeah, let's go. We ain't got nothing to lose. But I just feel like I value the relationship too much to take those kind of chances. You get what I'm saying?
So to you would you couldn't detach the emotion, because obviously if she wants that, it's not an emotional thing. It's strictly physical. You couldn't detach the physical from the emotional?
How many times have you started out with somebody strictly physical and it turned emotional? And then, true enough, maybe we can both keep our feelings in our pocket, but the person that she introduces can't. And then they start causing problems. You never know.
You're right about that, because I've been watching a lot of movies lately, and they always invite people in, and it's always like, oh, we're just gonna do this and have fun, and then all of a sudden,
get involved.
Yeah, all of a sudden you got a bitch trying to kill you.
That's those millennials who that's that new. I guess some old school. Like we don't need nobody else here.
So Bones, what about you? What if your partner said, hey, let's spice things up. I want to bring let's fulfill some of this porn fantasy. I want to bring somebody else in.
Obviously not a male, but if it's a female, I may consider it.
So why not a male? I mean, obviously we know you're not gay or anything, but if it is okay for a threesome, 2 girls, 1 guy, but why not 2 guys, 1 girl? And I totally agree. By the way,
because I'm not going to share my female with another male, but it to me it's different if you're sharing with another female. It's different.
That's because you're a male,
right? I hate that.
Oh shit!
Double standard is true though.
Yeah, and I agree. I admit it.
Definitely, yeah.
All right. So earlier I stated where you can't get away from it. So it's like everywhere you look. We were watching a show earlier, P Valley. Like literally every scene on the show is stripper type women. You go outside, that's all you see. How do you keep sane, like with your girl, to not violate any boundaries? Like, because we're men, so we're gonna look. I mean, it's just It's just
It's in our nature.
yeah, it's in our nature to look. But like, how do you still function?
Well, to me, I really value my relationship, and I know that everything out there, it's not. That's not what I want to come home to. Basically, you know what I mean? It's just something, just looking. You know what I mean?
And see, I feel like we're gonna look as men, and women they look too. It's just keep it respectable. Don't be gawking, and just keep it respectable, and that's it. And no matter who you with, it's gonna always be somebody that look better.
So if you caught your woman like checking out a guy, I mean, just looking at him like, there's some guys out there, you see him, you be like, damn,
I'm not supposed to catch you though.
Yeah. But see, that's where the double standard come in though, man.
I mean, I've never been caught. If I was, nothing was said. So it's like I'm not supposed to catch you staring at another guy.
So
like,
all right. So do you think we could ever? Because we could look at it both ways and see how porn could help and hurt a relationship. But do you ever think that in the society that we live in, that we could completely get rid of it?
No, I don't think so.
I was sent something the other day. Ricardo sent me something the other day, and it was, I forget what country it was, but they were making sex robots. So like, I heard of the sex dolls.
Yeah,
I've seen those.
In Asia somewhere.
Yeah, Asia.
Yeah, but now they had these sex robots where they program them to talk and everything like that.
It's creepy.
So that's, but again, that just goes to the hypersexuality of this world that we live in.
Hey, you ever notice that like a woman using toys on herself, you might find that sexy, but a man using toys on himself, that's just creepy. Like if you got a flashlight or a blow up doll or something like that, you're a creep.
I mean, like we living in a crazy world now, man. So can you imagine you're gonna go over your homeboy house one day and you'd be like, oh yeah, I want you to meet my girl, and then he brings out a fucking robot. Come on, man.
That's
like,
crazy.
That's like,
That's
so
crazy.
how do we tame some of that? Let's put it that way.
And you know what that does too? It's gonna like, I feel like human interaction is getting so watered down because of social media and whatnot, and that's just another way to water it down even more. Like, I realize sometimes people talking face to face don't even communicate like they used to because it's like all this technology got us getting like further apart from each other.
Look at when text messages became a thing.
Oh man, yeah.
People forgot how to communicate with each other.
And you can read a text message and they say the same thing, but I got one thing from it, you got another. Cause the emphasis on certain words.
All right, so I got a question from Anonymous. So he asked me this question, and a fair question. I want you guys to answer it though. So it says, if your girl doesn't want to fuck and you go rub one out to porn, is it considered cheating?
No,
I don't think so.
because you're not physically having sex with another human being. You're just having sex with your hand.
Are you hiding it? Do you feel like you gotta hide it?
I mean, are you gonna go tell her like, hey man, you don't want to do it, so I'm gonna go?
All right. Full transparency. I've been in a situation like that, and we in the bed, and this particular woman didn't want to do anything, so I was like, all right, well, I still gotta get mine. So I don't know what you want me to put headphones in, or you want me to leave the room? I do it right here, and it's like I feel like. So I'm rubbing one out, and then it's like all of a sudden, she got right. Like, nah, I got you. But it's like, I feel like if you're not gonna satisfy me, I'm not gonna hide that I'm gonna satisfy myself.
So okay, so let's look at it this way. If a girl sent you, just say a girl, you haven't touched a girl or anything, she sent you a nude picture or something, you're not gonna open it, and you're in the bed with your girl, you're not gonna open it right in the bed next to her. You're gonna go somewhere and look at it, right? So what's the difference?
I feel like ain't no female finna be sending me no nudes.
All right, well, hypothetically, if that was to happen,
That's different because you actually know that person. It's a personable relationship.
And not even that, like, I'm a snitch because I done it before. Hey, look, so-and-so just sent me this. I done it before.
So you don't think that's cheating though? Like,
Well, rubbing one out because she don't want to. Nah, you try to have sex with her first. She said no. So what, you supposed to go without? You should feel better that I rubbed one out myself as opposed to leaving the house on full. You get what I'm saying? Because now it's like I'm out here in the world with all these women who want to give it up while you don't. So
I'm glad you said that because I think sometimes, and we don't have much longer to go, but I think sometimes women view us watching porn as us not liking them, or us wanting something better than them, or us wanting desires filled anywhere else. I like what he said is like, you don't want to do it. I need my release. So why not let me just do this real quick?
Right.
But I'm keeping it at home.
And not just that, but don't let this become a habit though. You get what I'm saying?
Well,
and on top of that, it's like, name one time where you was watching porn and your woman came in and tried to take over and you're like, no, I want to watch this. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not like that's why what the doctor said kind of amazed me and gave me a new outlook, because I've never been in a situation where I prefer my hand. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's like if I'm watching porn and you decide that you want to take over, by all means, like, I prefer that anyway.
All right, so Anonymous also asked me this. He asked me to ask that same question. If your girl doesn't want to fuck and you go rub one out to porn, is it considered cheating? He wants me to ask that same question from a biblical perspective. I think he just asked me that point to mess with me because he knows that I'll try to touch it.
Right.
So guess what? Trevor's going to the Bible.
You know, I've thought about that before. It's like, dang, like, I've thought about that as far as, like, how does religion see masturbation? Good question.
I think they see it as fornication, right?
They see it as fornication because they can't. Is what I said earlier. So let me read this scripture. So we're gonna close the show out on this. As you can see, we could lead into a good conversation with you. So don't forget that. 1 Corinthians 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 3 through 5. It says, nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto his wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. You don't understand what that means? Have sex. The wife has no power of her own body, but the husband, and likewise the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife. I mean, you can't just be saying, oh, I'm just keeping myself from you, and you're married. That's ridiculous.
Right.
Verse 5, defraud ye not one another, except it be with consent for a time, that you may give yourself to fasting and praying, to come together again, that Satan tempt you for not in contency, which when I looked that word up, it says capacity to hold back or restrain. So basically what it's saying is if you call yourself, don't say like, oh, I'm going to deny them a sex unless you guys agreed to it, like on a certain time, like, hey, we're going to do this for a certain amount of time, because the Bible's telling you, again, whatever you think about it, it's telling you, hey, if you do this, you're allowing room for some trouble to happen.
Absolutely.
Because people won't be able to refrain,
right,
or hold themselves back from the outside temptation. So, Anonymous, I hope that answered your question, because I knew you asked that to mess with me, because you didn't think I had an answer for it, but you know me. I got an answer for everything out this Bible. So back to what you were saying, like how the religious views on fornication. And it's funny because I was just watching something the other day, and they view masturbation as fornication because of the lust factor.
Right. But doesn't lust have to be involved for sex, period? And so my whole thing is like, you should lust after your partner. You get what I'm saying? And so with that being said, if you're denying me, so I decide to rub one out, that's a sin, but actually cheating is a sin too. So
wait a minute. You say that lust has to be involved. Like, why? Lust
I feel like, what's your definition of lust?
Lust is just like just an uncontrollable desire. Just an uncontrollable desire. But I look at it. I look at it as of something you can't have.
Oh, okay. See, I look at it as just uncontrollable desire
towards your partner or
towards anybody.
Right.
Like I never put that
that's
that limitation on it. Right.
So,
right.
And I think and I think that's what they do. It's not. I think that's what they do. They throw in that to something that you can't have or something that's not for you, or
right.
your lust for money, that you desire money so much that you'll do anything to get it.
Right.
Once you lose the ability to control yourself, then it becomes lust. Like you're like, man, like I can't. I want her so bad. Like if she don't give it to me, I'm gonna just take it from her.
Right.
That type of stuff. So I don't feel. I mean, like I told my wife plenty of times like I lust after her, but
right.
The way that I'm thinking it is different from probably how somebody else would hear that.
Right.
But yeah, the church when they talk about masturbation, I think the problem too with the church, they don't like to have any type of real conversations about anything. They can't.
I feel like I know they say every sin is equal, but I feel like if I gotta rub one out as opposed to ain't that better than stepping out?
That's what I would think.
Yeah.
Because growing up, when I was growing up in church, when I started going to church when I was at 17, I was a horny. So it's like, okay, so you could tell a kid that was 17 who was already sexually active, now that you're supposedly saved, you can't have sex anymore, but then you're not telling me what the alternative is.
Right.
It's like what's the alternative? What do I do? Do I stay here and
yeah,
like do I stay here and just burn up? Like like what the hell do I do? And they never had that type of conversation. That's why
pray about it.
Yeah, oh yeah, thoughts and prayers, pray about it. That's why you have so many young people in churches now so consumed with lust. Is not that they want to feel that way, but they don't have anybody telling them like, hey man, look, go and rub that thing out, man. It's ready. It's better to just rub this out and be done with it and get back to your life than to try to go out and end up messing with this chick and end up getting pregnant or end up doing this and all type of stuff. And so it's a slippery slope with everything.
Right, and I guess it's all up to your own personal perception and interpretation.
Yeah, everything go back to interpretation.
Yep.
It's always about interpretation with everything. So, man, I feel like we touched on everything on this that we could, unless you guys got something else you want to add.
Fellas, get you a kit, man.
Get you a kit?
Get you a kit.
What you mean get a kit?
Like toys are your friend, fellas.
Oh, okay.
Toys are your friends.
So what?
I feel like that's something that I hear a lot too. Men are afraid of their girls having toys because they feel insufficient. But it's
feel like it's competition.
Yeah. But nah, man, use them together.
Yeah, I'm honestly keeping it 100. I'm not about to be using no dildo on my woman. Like,
I mean, I ain't saying it had to be a dildo, but I mean,
yeah, I ain't using no dildo on my woman. Let's put it that way.
Other toys out there, you feel me?
Well, thank you guys for coming by the studio, touching on this topic, and I hope my listeners enjoy it. And I'm not going to be gone for too long because 9 out of 10 something's going to happen in this world that I'm going to have to come report on. I'm only going to take like a couple of weeks off just to kind of clear my head and regroup because there's a lot going on just in real life. So I want to say thank you to my guests again for coming through. Oh yeah, I know you guys plug those business before I sign up.
I actually wanted to plug my sister. She's doing something called Quasi Creations, where she makes cups and whatnot. She was supposed to send me her info, but she didn't. But I guess just look her up on Instagram, Quasi, Quazy Creations.
All right. You got anything, Bones?
Nah, I enjoyed being here. Thanks for having me.
I know you be
Thanks for having me too.
Yeah,
I'll be back.
You bust your cherry, man. So now you can now you can come into the studio and you can see we talk about anything, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how it go. Ain't no topic that I won't touch. Nothing's crazy. It's funny. I just came in contact with this guy and told him that I had a podcast, and he was like, "Man, you got a podcast?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Hey, listen, bro, I used to drive trucks and I disappeared for 3 days." And he thought that I was going to look at him and be like, "Man, get the hell out of here." I was like, "Man, do you want to talk about this?" I'm like, he said, "Bro, I feel like I was abducted by the aliens or the CIA," because he said he was carrying airplane parts. And I'm like, "Man, listen, I got the perfect person that you could talk to for this." And I was somebody say, I said, I just got to kind of work it out, work the times out to see when we could get together. So be out on the lookout for that, man. Me and Zay still got to do our dual nature show, man. It's just, it's just stuff happens. But, I thank you guys for the continued support. Thank you guys for riding with me. This race to 10K is a real thing. So thank you guys for listening to the show. Thank you guys for being loyal followers of the show, faithful listeners, and everything like that. And signing out, I always leave you with these words of encouragement and wisdom. Always seek out the truth for yourself, because if not, you'll fall victim to other people's interpretations of them. And with that, I say peace until season 5. See you soon.
Questions don't follow no rules. I'm learning my lessons, got nothing to prove. I follow my heart and I do what I feel. I breathe and believe and I plead for what's real. Ain't asking no questions, don't follow no rules. I'm learning my lessons, got nothing to prove. I follow my heart and I do what I feel. I breathe and believe and I plead for what's real. Change with the seasons, there's often many reasons you not seeing what I'm seeing. Though we both human beings, being different, our existence is taking different paths. I pursue with more persistence, and my instincts make me last. We're not the same, so we choose and making different moves. I take no blame for my mistakes and never placing them on you, because I'm real. I really feel no need to judge another person. I hate to hold a grudge, but this love thing ain't working. You can tell by my reflection that I shows no affection. Accepting misconception only leads to misdirection. This is sad, sorry. Nothing to prove. I follow my heart and I do what I feel. I breathe and believe and I plead for what's real.
If you can't get enough of Straight Talk with Trevor, be sure to like our Facebook page. You'll get page-only exclusives like links to early shows and behind-the-scenes video footage. You can also participate in polls that might shape future shows. The best thing about our Facebook page is that's where you can get in direct contact with Trevor. You can also leave show topics, reviews, or even request to be a guest on the show. Again, like us on Facebook, and thank you for your continued support.